All right, welcome everybody to Off the Cuff. I'm Adam Banks, and that was a great song. That was Shaq. Yes, I'm talking about Shaquille O'Neal, and that was Shaq singing. It was called "I Know I Got Skills with a Z." Josh Bryant is with me. Josh, what's up?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Josh, back to that song there really quick. What year was that song?
What year?
I'm going to guess like 1996.
It actually doesn't have it listed, but this came out about the time that Shaq and Kobe were teammates because he also made a song about Kobe and their issues. So this is probably about the late 90s, early 2000s, during the three-peat.
Hold on. Shaq made a rap song about Kobe Bryant.
Maybe not a full song, but he raps about Kobe, yes.
Oh, that's insane, man. Like, did you ever watch Kazam?
Yeah, that was a great movie.
That was an excellent movie. He got, I wonder if he got poor reviews for that.
What would you think of it? I mean,
I loved it, dude. I thought it was an excellent movie. He came out of a boombox.
Now,
he didn't come out of a lamp. The genie Kazam come out of a boombox. That's who Shaq was.
That was funny, but what age were you? That's why it might have been entertaining.
Let's see. It came out in what? Like Space Jam come out first, right? And then Shaquille O'Neal followed with Kazam.
Yeah.
So
early 2000s probably again?
No, Kazam was not early 2000s, dude. Kazam was like 97 minimum.
Okay.
Minimum 97. And so I was probably 7. I was 9. So
okay.
Yeah, 9 years old. If I watched it today, I'd probably be cool with it.
Yeah, because you grew up with it. Someone who, your parent watches it, they might enjoy it, but they won't enjoy it to the level you do.
Possibly. I mean, that was dude, you just blast from the past. But okay, ladies and gentlemen, here on Off the Cuff, we like to talk about several different things. Sports being a big one, and the NBA playoffs is underway, and I wanted to bring on Josh for on this episode to talk about the NBA because I consider him my NBA expert. But Josh, what do you think about the playoffs? Just an overall opinion of the playoffs. What you've watched so far?
It's been much more competitive than years past. There's only we had 2 sweeps in the first round. The Cavs swept the Celtics, and the Warriors swept New Orleans.
Which was awesome, because Golden State is my team. Steph Curry, baby.
You have talked about him many times and how you believe, and I'm sure he will get the MVP. And he is one of the new up-and-coming superstars, obviously, like James Harden as well.
You think he's going to get MVP?
They usually give it to the best player on the best team a lot of times, as we've seen. And with that being said, he is the front runner for that, isn't he?
Well, so we got Russell Westbrook's also in the run for that, right?
He didn't make the playoffs, though, so that almost takes him out of even an option. You got to make playoffs.
I have to agree with that, but. Russell Westbrook just put on a show. Man.
Oh my gosh! I mean, more triple doubles than what we've seen anybody do since maybe don't correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody maybe since Michael Jordan or Magic Johnson.
Which is
incredible.
Right. That's why that Russell Westbrook still needs to be considered the MVP, regardless if he made the playoffs.
Agreed. That should not even. You know what? And it shouldn't almost even though Steph Curry's so deserving, almost shouldn't be given to the best player on the best team, because then that eliminates people like him because he didn't make the playoffs. Therefore, they don't think he's worthy enough when he can be or is.
But yeah, speaking of Russell Westbrook and the Oklahoma City
let's talk
Thunder,
about that for a minute.
Yes, I want to talk about Billy Donovan.
Give your thoughts on it. You're a basketball college expert.
Yes, I love college basketball, and Billy Donovan. I think it's a huge loss for the SEC. It's a huge loss for college basketball.
It is, man. He's there goes. Almost fans go with him. It's going to take time for them to reinvest in Florida, and some might not be a fan anymore. Once you lose that piece to some people, they're not a fan.
Right, absolutely. I know a lot of Florida fans, but I feel like that these people who call themselves Florida fans are not going to be Florida fans now that Donovan's gone.
So we might have some bandwagons.
Oh, there's going to be some bandwagons, but there's going to be people that remember Florida as being good. Florida is not going to be good. They're never going to find a coach like Billy Donovan. I'll tell you this, Florida will never be back in the Final Four in the next 20, 30 years.
30 years.
They're not going to find a coach. Nobody cares at Florida. Billy Donovan made people care, but in a year or two...
It's a good argument. It's like people care at Duke basketball because of Coach K. Otherwise, they didn't care before.
Right. It's going to be interesting to see how Duke ends up. But
Florida's all about football.
Florida's all about... It's a football school.
Okay, yes, it is.
Duke is a basketball school, so Duke would probably...
So let's talk about Billy Donovan going to the NBA for a minute and what your thought is on that.
Well, it's a gain for the NBA. Just like it was the NCAA's loss, it's a gain for the NBA. I think that he is just one of the top 5 coaches in college basketball currently, NBA or college. I think it's a complete gain.
So I got to challenge you almost on that. I think let's talk about our top 5 coaches in the NBA, and let's see if we can maybe name 5 that maybe are better than Billy Donovan.
Currently in the game. Okay. I'm not really that familiar with NBA coaches.
Okay, let's see if we can do it. I think I'm familiar enough. So we've got Greg Popovich. We'll go ahead and list him as what?
He's definitely got to be number 1 because
Phil's not involved anymore. That's
right.
why.
Right. We're talking about We're talking about current coaches.
Number 2 has got to be
the coach from
let's look at the bracket. Who else?
The Miami Heat. What's his name?
Miami Heat. Okay, that's a good one. Spoelstra.
Yeah.
Eric.
Yeah. You have to throw him in there. Or, I mean, can you really throw the guy in there who won 2 championships with LeBron?
Agreed. Okay. Another person. How about who coaches the Clippers? Doc Rivers.
Yes.
You got to throw him in your top.
He
took the Celtics back to what's the word I'm looking for here?
Prominence.
Legacy.
Yes.
Or the promised land. Yes. So we've got
Doc Rivers and.
You know what? You're stumping me a little bit because I'm looking at some of these teams right here.
Yeah.
And I'm not thinking that they might not be as good as Billy Donovan is in college anyway. So maybe Chicago. I might almost throw Tom Thibodeau in my top 5.
Well, dude, I mean, you can sit and you can wonder all you want. The reason you're having a hard time coming up with it is because Billy Donovan is actually one of the top 5 basketball coaches in the world right now.
Maybe.
So, hey, game for the Oklahoma City. And, hey, I would leave any coaching situation to go coach Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook.
I mean, he has just here's some cake.
Yes.
Just set it up for me.
I mean, yes, he could go in easily and be a contender for the championship.
Just like Steve Kerr. You know what? He has his pieces set in line for him.
I think he made an awesome decision. He had a chance to go to the Orlando Magic.
And what kind of waste would that be almost? I mean, they have some young talent right now, but you're not talking about competing for a championship for the next 3 to 5 years at the least.
Well, this was like back in when he went off.
Okay,
back-to-back
so probably when they still had Dwight Howard, right?
So he's been flirting with the NBA for a long time, but he finally gave him in and he left. But it's going to be interesting to know who ends up at Florida.
Agreed. But let's move on back to the playoff bracket and what we've seen so far.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell you who I'm most impressed with to see start. Oh, actually, we had another sweep that I didn't mention. We had Washington sweep Toronto. That blew my mind. Did you see Washington even beating Toronto? I had them losing 4-3.
Yeah, I mean, Washington's got John Wall, which is one of the best point guards in the world. He's the role of a point guard is the guy who's supposed to control
it's like the quarterback,
the movement of the floor, and he controls it so well. His team is so organized, like when he's the point guard, and that's just what's so fascinating about John Wall. So yes, I did see the Washington beating.
He's leading the league in assists in playoffs. Not only is he leading the league, he's averaging 13 point something assists, which is incredible.
Some Kentucky boy has to do it. Anthony Davis choked.
So let's talk
Davis choked.
Hold on. Let's talk about that, though. Not just Anthony Davis. Let's talk about how UK basketball players are involved in the playoffs and how they're doing. Unfortunately for Rondo, he didn't get to play much, and he's moved on from his teams. And Dallas has been eliminated from the first round by Houston in 4-1, unfortunately. But we've also got to see John Wall do great. Anthony Davis did great. He had one of the best starts to an NBA playoff series for a guy whose debut ever. But yes, he lost. Of course, he lost.
Yeah, but he lost.
Okay.
He lost. John Wall, man, is the guy who needs to shine in this playoff. It don't need to be Anthony Davis.
Agreed.
The guy gets a lot of credit, and he's going to go down as probably one of the best power forwards of all time. He's just magnificent. But
Agreed.
You cannot take away John Wall's shine.
One other thing is he's not going to take away his shine, but he's going to do a good job every game. Is Terrence Jones is having a well-rounded playoff series run.
Yeah, Terrence Jones is somebody who's just impressed me, who's just surprised me.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to ask you, did you ever think this man would be this skillful in the NBA?
No.
He is the starter on the Houston Rockets where Corey Brewer and Josh Smith come off the bench.
Crazy.
To him.
Yes.
To him.
Some players develop
over
in the
time.
NBA, and they develop over time, and they flourish in the NBA.
So, moving on, we've had Portland and Memphis play, and Memphis has moved on, and they almost swept Portland at 4-1. And are you impressed with that? Did you think Memphis was that big of a powerhouse? Out of 4-3, again, Memphis winning though.
Well, I think Memphis is another surprise team that kind of went in there and just
got the job done.
Yeah, they got the job done.
And then we've also seen Clippers in San Antonio are still going on. We got Game 6 coming on tonight. Actually, it's on right now. Last I saw, the Clippers were up.
Really?
Yes, and if Clippers don't win tonight, They go home.
I'm ready for the Clippers to go home. And, it's partly me being a Los Angeles Laker fan, because I don't think you can be both. I'm sorry, I don't. And if you are, I think you're a little shady and you're not
You think you're probably a little bit of a bandwagon fan.
I mean,
and you know what?
Yeah.
I probably am a little bit. I'll admit, I like the Clippers.
That's disappointing.
And I like the Clippers because they're so much fun to watch.
I mean, right now they are, but they've stunk for so many years. And
they have.
I really don't like the way they treated their former owner. What was his name? The guy who got recorded.
Oh, yeah. It seemed like he was tricked into that, didn't it? By his girl.
Yes. What was his name?
I forget her name.
It was awful, though.
Yes. Moving on, we've covered all the games in the West, and we talked about some of the games in the East. We talked about the Toronto and Washington series. We talked about the Cleveland and Boston series. Let's talk about 1 minute about Kevin Love, and then we'll talk about the rest of the series in the East here. We got 2 more. But Kevin Love is out for the rest of the playoffs. Now, where does this put Cleveland in your mind? Do you still think they make the Eastern Conference Finals or the championship?
Well, first of all, let me address the Kevin Love situation.
Yes.
I think that Kevin Love is not the Kevin Love that we used to know. I think last year and years before that, Kevin Love was on his way of being one of the best players in the NBA. This year, it's just been just a downfall for him. LeBron James, I don't know if it's just playing with him. It's just it's kept him back, and it's like he hit his peak last year, so it's kind of sad. But he's out for the rest of the year. When he's not playing and he's not available, I think that it can cause some problems.
It can cause some problems. Yes, agreed. Many people think Kevin Love's underperforming. I am one of the people who disagree.
Yeah.
The man is averaging 16 and 9.
Right.
There's only 10 other players maybe averaging that in the NBA. Now, unfortunately, he's not performing to what we expected, or even maybe to say what Chris Bosh did in his first season with Miami Heat, and we expected that at the least. So I will say that he's underperforming to what I thought he would do, but do I think he's underperforming as a whole? No, because that's still a productive NBA player, if not even a great role player.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. You're saying these stats off the paper. I'm just not seeing it. I just don't think that he's just really as talented as he was.
Okay.
I just think that Kevin Love is just he's out. It's unfortunate. It's going to hurt. It's going to put a little stain on the team for the year.
It's really going to be surprising when they play Chicago.
I never did get to address the second part of the question you asked me. Do I think the the Cleveland Cavaliers will make it far?
I mean, where do you have them going now that he's out?
Let's see. I don't think the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to win.
So they're going to play Chicago next round.
Yeah.
Chicago beat Milwaukee tonight.
I tell you who it's going to be, Josh. It's going to be Cleveland and Golden State.
Still think they're going to the championship.
In the championship.
So Atlanta or the Wizards or Chicago doesn't stop them.
No.
Okay.
No, it's going to be Cleveland. Cleveland's going to get there. It's going to be LeBron James versus Stephen Curry. Curry's going to get his best. He's going to get his first championship, and what better way to get it than beating King James?
Okay. So you're already going to go ahead and finish it out. Okay. Well, so as we were saying, we got 2 other matches to talk about, and then we'll finish it up with what we think will happen, as Adam already gave you a preview of his championship.
Which, by the way, I don't think LeBron James is the king of anything. I don't even know why I called him king, because he is just he's not king caliber, and I just feel weird calling people king.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
We shouldn't call anyone king besides maybe the one upstairs. But
right. Exactly. I don't think we know. Yeah, because we don't live in England.
But anyway. So as I said earlier, Chicago beat Milwaukee tonight. Not only did they beat Milwaukee, I just checked the score a minute ago.
Yeah.
They beat them by over 40.
What?
Yes.
Over 40.
Over 40. Or what? Wait, little under 40.
Who is this? I'm sorry.
A little under 40. Chicago beat Milwaukee tonight. A little under 40.
That's insane, man.
So
Chicago's playing then.
They're playing well. You know what? They're playing Cleveland, and I think they have a chance because you got Kevin Love out the whole series, and you got J.R. Smith out the first 2 games. And if they happen to take one of those first games at Cleveland's home court, it's going to be a great series. That's down in the lower east there, and we've already talked about that. So now we're going to move on to Atlanta and Brooklyn. Atlanta's and Brooklyn are trying to still finish out their series. It's 3-2 Atlanta, and then the next game is at Atlanta, or actually at Boston. Who wins that game? At Brooklyn. Does Brooklyn push Atlanta to a 7th game at their home court?
I do think that Brooklyn is going to win the matchup. I do. I think that
The upset? You're predicting the upset?
Yes, I do. I think that Brooklyn is going to be the team who surprises us. You know, the Hawks. I'm happy to see them there. For some reason, it tickles my fancy that the Atlanta Hawks is in the playoffs. I like that.
But you don't predict them winning the first round.
It's not like I don't want them to. I'd like to see Atlanta Hawks all the way up to having to face, because I know they're in the same bracket as. Yeah, I'd like to see them have to face Cleveland. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think that Brooklyn is going to win that next game.
And they win Game 7.
And they win. Well, I don't know. Maybe not Game 7. They're going to win the next game.
Okay, I agree with that. They'll probably push it to a Game 7, and hopefully Atlanta prevails in Game 7 because they are so much more talented, and they've got a great new coach. I forget his name, but
is Jay-Z still the owner of the Brooklyn Nets?
For the time being, I think there's talk about selling, but we'll see more next year. And they've got a great coach. Can't think of his name, but Atlanta snagged Greg Popovich's assistant coach in the offseason, and that's why they're so good.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
So we've talked about all the matchups now. You give us a preview of who you think is going to make the championship. I still think Cleveland probably does make it.
Okay.
I think they still beat out Chicago, and they still beat out Atlanta. I mean, you have the best point guard in the East in Kyrie Irving, if not maybe top 5 overall in the NBA.
Right.
Top 10 for sure. I mean, he's incredible. He dropped 50 twice this season. Nobody else dropped 50 twice this season, and he dropped 58, which is the highest of the season. And so I think they still make it. I think LeBron or Kyrie drops 50 before the end of the playoffs because they have to. One of them does. You don't have your third piece anymore.
Yes.
So if one of them drops 50, if not next series, and I think it's probably Kyrie because LeBron is looking to show him, hey man, this is kind of your team too, and eventually I'm not going to be here, so you got to learn how to get it done. I'm going to show you how.
Right.
Okay. So I think they move on, but I think the way San Antonio showed their poise in the Clippers series by winning one on the road last night and the other night, and hopefully winning one to finish the series here at home, I think that they have showed they're still good, and they still have the chance to beat Houston, which I think they do, and I think they even maybe beat Golden State. And so I've got San Antonio playing Cleveland. Hold on, before you rebuttal, I've got San Antonio winning it, especially since Cleveland's injured now. But go ahead and rebuttal why you think Golden State's so much better if you'd like.
Well, what you said is not outlandish.
Agreed. I mean, it's either them or Golden State.
It could happen. So it's either going to, but I will tell you this: whoever wins the San Antonio and Golden State match is going to win the championship.
Agreed.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the show. Josh, always a pleasure. Well, actually, first time being on the show. Thank you.
It is. Thank you for having me.
No problem, man. You'll have to come back, man, and we could talk maybe other things. Or to have a conversation on Magic Johnson. I wonder what that could be. But I will see everybody. Hey, could you get us some music going? Maybe some.
Get us some music going. Some Shaq to end out on.
Some Shaq, man. Like,
yeah.
If maybe you could find like a really nice like early '90s Shaquille O'Neal stuff. Back when he had that one earring in his ear.
Oh man, it doesn't look like he has that one earring here, but it looks like I've got a song that we started with here.
All right. See you, everybody.